And so there's a variety of lead generation that we do. And I think open houses is the best return on investment because it's so cheap to do. And so that's what we're going to go over, is how do you capture leads with open houses today. So a variety of things that we can do with open houses. We're going to cover capturing leads with open houses, what are best practices, prepare, prospect, and pursue, and then recap. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail. Now, the thing that Hannah does is not only talks about open houses, but she goes into the scripts and things like that. We'll talk a little bit about that. Hannah goes into more detail, so I encourage you to follow up with Hannah's program. So nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have. That's Gary Keller, founder of Keller Williams, and it's very true. The number of leads directly impacts how much money that you can make in real estate, for the simple fact that when you know that your numbers, and you know that, say, for instance, that you have 10 leads, and out of those 10 leads, you get 2 appointments, and out of those 2 appointments, you're going to get one client. And if you know that out of 1 client, or out of 2 clients, that you're going to get that you're going to close a deal, then how many leads you need. You know that you're going to need 20 leads, to close 1 deal. So you're able to predict almost to exactly what you are going to make by knowing your numbers and knowing how many leads that you need to get to those closings. So dispel limiting beliefs. I don't have a listing to hold an open house. I assume that most everyone is new to the business, or has not been in the business very long, and may not have had any listings yet, or may have only had a couple listings. Ask around the office, put it out there on the KW Facebook site. That you're willing to do an open house for somebody, because there's a lot of KW agents that don't do open houses, but they do a lot of listings, and so they look for other agents to go ahead and do open houses for them. Now, one thing that has come up is doing open houses for agents outside of Keller Williams, and it's been decided that is not appropriate to do, for the simple fact that there's some E&O issues that could come up with that. And so to protect our agents, we want to make sure that any of your open houses stay within the Keller Williams office. I don't have any signs yet. Go to the file cabinets in the room next to Sarah's office. There's almost always open house signs there to borrow. And ask Sarah if they're not there. She may have them in the back, but you don't need to own signs to be able to borrow signs. Ask an agent, if they have some generic open house signs that you can use. I may not know the answers to questions visitors have. The best thing you can do is to be honest and just say, I'm working with a great company. I just started in my real estate career, and I can let you know that if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer for you, and I will follow up within 24 hours. And let them know that if I may not know the answer, but I'm going to find the answer for you. That's giving them something of value, especially when you do follow up with that answer. They're gonna realize that, hey, this is great, you found out for me, and it's invaluable to do that follow-up. Open houses don't really work because most people look, let me move this, online. Yeah, people look online, but if you've ever gone to a house where you look at the pictures on MLS or on Zillow, and then you go to the house and it looks totally different, that's why people go to open houses. Realtors have this uncanny ability to make a house look great, and sometimes it doesn't in person, but we hope that we can make it look as good as the pictures. But you'll be surprised when an open house is marketed correctly, how many people that you can get to an open house. And then it's a matter of learning how to follow up with those people, and we'll get more into that a little bit later. I won't feel safe, and we'll get into that as far as safety issues. One of the best things that you can do is tandem up with another agent, and having two agents at the same location is going to give you more of a safe feeling. So open houses, who benefits? Well, the seller benefits because you are exposing their house to potential buyers. How do buyers benefit? I'm going to ask some questions, and I'd like to get engagement. I don't want to be the one talking all the time. So how many people have actually done an open house? Okay. Dee, you want to tell me how an open house benefits buyers?
Well, the buyer gets a chance to see the house firsthand versus just the pictures like you alluded to earlier. And they also are engaging with a real estate professional who's going to be able to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my answers.
Okay. Well, those are good answers. The buyer also, it helps the buyer because they're able to compare houses. A lot of times a buyer's not going to go out to one open house. They're going to go to multiple open houses, and it gives them a chance to compare houses. How does it benefit the neighbors?
I mean, I suppose they would get the opportunity to tour that house and see how it compares to their own and get an idea of value for
value. Yep. Yeah.
Comparative.
Maybe a neighbor's house is on the market also. When you have an open house, people tend to look in the neighborhood, and it might help them to find a buyer that may not be interested in the house that you are open, but that somebody else's house is put up. And that's one of the things of value that I like to give out is local open houses. I like to give a sheet out of local open houses to buyers, gives them something of value. And you can let them know that if there's any of those houses that they'd like to have a private tour, or follow up with a second showing and stuff, to be sure to give you a call, and you'll set that up for them. And so you as the agent, open houses, I estimate when you do an open house correctly, when you go through the steps that I'm about to talk about, that one open house is worth about 1.5 transactions. So you figure that out. If you do 24 open houses in a year, that translates into, to basically 36 transactions if you do it correctly. An open house done correctly takes about 7 hours. And that's my estimation when it's done correctly. It's not just about opening the door. And so we'll get into that more detail. So the benefits of the open house, like I say, one of the best return on investments. It's a great prospecting tool. It's inexpensive. And you get qualified leads. Most people that are looking at houses are qualified buyers when they come in. Some of them haven't met with a lender. Well, guess what? You know, that's your job. And if you get them to a lender, you've given them something of value, they're gonna stick with you. So any ahas so far? Anything that that stands out that that might help you with your next open house?
I really loved the idea of giving a sheet of open houses to the buyers. I think that's a great item of value.
I think anything that you can do to give something of value is going to be remembered by that person. And it's just a further step into building that relationship.
Yeah, thanks for the tip. That's awesome.
Best practices. So set your goals, be purposeful about your goals. So one thing that I do is my goal, how many doors am I going to knock on before an open house? You know, my goal is I want to knock on no less than 25, but my goal is 50. And so if I can invite 50 neighbors to an open house, that's going to meet my goal, and that's going to help me to get to that 1.5 transactions that I need out of that open house. What's your goal to get people to sign up? You know, set your goals, and then how do you attain those goals? So what kind of actions do you have to it has to take place for you to attain those goals? And so we'll go into more actives. Think about your market numbers. Picking the house. I can tell you rural property is a little more difficult with open houses. Try door knocking in a rural area. You're doing a lot of walking. So I highly recommend, we use a dialer, we use the Mojo dialer, and I actually do the same thing that I do with circle prospecting is that I just pick out a geographical area around my open house and I start dialing, inviting people to the open house. I can get to more people. I typically will dial, 100 homes versus walking, around and maybe getting 10 because of the distance that's so far between each house. And I can get those 100 calls in about an hour and a half. And so that's one way to be able to door knock by phone, so to speak. But if you pick the house, if you pick a geographical area that you want to be in all the time, look for the new homes coming on the market that are listed by our Keller Williams agents that are in the geographical area that you want to do your open houses. You want to be recognized as the person. You want them to see you're doing an open house almost every week in the same area, and all of a sudden people are going to be coming to you to list homes. They're going to be coming to you to say, hey, I know this person looking for a home. Be the face to go to. Consider inviting a speaker, such as an inspector or a lender. So I think it's really strong to have a lender at your open house also, because if somebody's not pre-approved, guess what you can do right then and there? You can get all their information with the lender. You can have them sit down and meet the lender. We just talked about sometimes, buyers are hard to move. And sometimes they, when they're talking to a lender, they don't quite act so quickly. Well, if the lender's right there and you're able to sit that buyer down right there, you just took care of that problem. The nice thing too is that the lender will also say you want to have some food there, have the lender sponsor it, have the lender pay for it, have the lender pay for flyers. Like I say, it's one of the most cost-effective ways to lead gen. Don't limit yourself to Saturday or Sunday. Thursday night happy hour, wine and cheese open house, Sunday afternoons. I typically take into consideration on Sundays that, a lot of people go to church. So, I typically from noon on, I'm doing something, I'll do my open houses after noon. Think about businesses. What if you have an open house that's kind of close to some commercial businesses or something like that? And on a weekday, have your open house from 4 to 7 or 4 to 6, 4 to 7 or 5 to 7. Have it at that time when people are getting off work and they can see your signs and hey, I've got an open house today. Another thing is what about an afternoon open house during the week? That's by school. Parents are going to pick up their kids. You have an open house from 2 to 4 or from 3 to 5. And, the parents that are picking up their kids, and stuff. Oh, wow. Here's a open house, come to an open house. Bring your kids. We got cookies and punch or something to that effect, make it kid friendly. So there's different ideas. You don't have to be limited to just Saturday open houses. And then prepare your stats. So really, really important to know your numbers. You'll hear me say that a lot. Know your numbers. With our team, it's with Place is founded by Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez, and they absolutely stress know your numbers. And like I said, the reason why is that you can dictate how many closings you're going to get by knowing your numbers. So keep track of how many people are coming through your open house. Keep track of how many doors you're knocking. Keep track of the results of everything. What's your follow-up? You want to follow up with everybody right after the open house. You want to follow up with everybody that signed up. You want to follow up with the people that you door knocked that said that we're talking about selling their house. You want to follow up with those people right away and start booking appointments. The other reason you want to know your market is what's your demographics? Is it is it horse property? Are you catering to people who are looking for for horse property, for an arena, indoor arena? Are you catering to somebody who's looking in more in a high-end home like North Gillum? You want to know what your market is before you're doing your open house, and you want to market to those people that are more likely to look at your property. So being safe, coming back to that, going a little more detail, like I say, use a buddy system. You want to go into an open house, invite another agent to do the open house with you. It's not just about being safe, but if your open houses are busy, sometimes if you're the only one there, I know it's happened to me where I'll get 3 or 4 different couples coming through and I can't get to all of them. And all of a sudden a couple leaves after they've already looked at it and I have no idea. They didn't sign in and I didn't ask them questions. I didn't get a chance to build a rapport with them. And it's more important to be able to have that rapport, whether it's you or the other agent, to be able to follow up with those clients. It's really important that we don't just work as an individual, but we work as a team. We work as a company together, that we help each other to be successful. And if you expect that there's going to be an open house with a lot of people coming, it's better to have a second agent there to help out with that. I like to limit my open houses. Rurally, I'll go 4 hours on an open house because typically people are driving further distance. And so, and sometimes, you know, having that ability to not be restricted to 2 hours, you know, in the country is beneficial. But if I'm in town, I'm holding it to 2 hours. And the reason is because I used to do 4 hours in town. And what I'd find is that these buyers would come in and they would be spread out. And you could feel a difference in the energy when I went to 2 hours, and all of a sudden it condenses people in, and now I'm getting people coming at the same time because of that 2 hour period. And now I've got more energy. And with more energy becomes more urgency, and people feel, oh, well, man, this is a, you know, people are really, you know, this is a popular house. You know, if you know, I kind of like it, I better get an offer in fairly quick. So it builds a sense of urgency by condensing those hours. You want to make sure you arrive early. One of the things, you know, is to make sure that you're completely set up with everything. I set up my laptop. I have the listing up on my laptop. I'm ready to enter emails to send them flyers. I don't take flyers with me. The reason being is if they want a flyer, oh yeah, sure. And let me go ahead and I'll enter your email right here, and I'll send you a flyer right now. What did I just do? Anybody?
Got his email address.
I at least got an email address and a name.
Yep.
And I just sent them a flyer.
So
I'll also do that. I'll do the same thing with the list of open houses. It's not on a sheet. It's in my computer. It's a PDF on my computer. Oh, would you like to know all the other open houses in the area? I got a sheet, you know, and I'll open it up, and then I'll say, okay, what's your email? I'll go ahead and send that to you right now.
So what's like the ideal practice for obtaining that sort of information from these people? Like, are you waiting until you make the contact with them to, you know, strike up a conversation and then?
Yeah, I'm gonna build a rapport with them.
Okay.
I'm going to strike up a conversation. The very first thing when they come through the door, I'm going to introduce myself. And every time that I don't say I'm Dan Goss, I say,
Yeah.
I reach out, I reach my hand out and I say, I'm Dan. What are they going to do? They're going to automatically tell me what their first name is.
Right.
Now I'm on a first name basis. And, I might say something like, well, hey, I'll be your pilot today, but I promise I won't crash the house, and we'll go ahead and, you can look around and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And I can tell you a little bit about the house that you may not see. And then we start in, with a conversation. I start going in and I start filling it. And then I asking, have they been looking for a while, or have they just started the process? If they just started the process, they probably don't have an agent. If they've been looking for a while, they may not have an agent that they like working with, or that hasn't really helped them to find a place. So I'm gonna find that out. I'm gonna fill that out. How long have you been? Have you just started looking? And stuff. Oh yeah, you've been looking for a while. Well, you obviously haven't found anything yet. What's your ideal house that you're looking for? What are you looking for in a house? That house may not be the one that fits that criteria, but I can tell them, hey, I understand what you're looking for, and I'd be happy to go ahead and send you what I have that fits that criteria. And oh, by the way, just in case the email bounces back, what's a good number I can reach you to make sure I'm sending it to the right email?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. Predisposing them to this sort of ask was better.
And it's really key to understand, the different type of personalities.
Mm-hmm.
If you got somebody that's analytical, wants to know the numbers and stuff, well then, start talking about the numbers. Well, this is, from my understanding that, from my lender that, that right now, this is what the rates are. I want to know where the rates are before I go to the open house, so that I can bring that in or have my lender send me the information, so that I have that information. Touchy feely, something, they get emotional, and so that's where you could talk about, I've got this 2-bedroom, 1-bath, that I'm showing, and I got somebody that is emotional. I say, look at these amazing, wood beams, and the wood paneling is gorgeous. You just got that cabin feel to it, and things. That's where I'm going to focus. So you need to feel out, and as you're talking, listen a little bit, ask them, what's their real estate goals? How soon, are they wanting to find a place? Why are they moving? Oh, you're downsizing, so you have a house that you're gonna sell to downsize, or you need something bigger, things. Well, there's a potential listing in there for you too. But I guarantee that whatever, as we go in the conversation, I'm going to find something personal to talk about that I can relate with. Now I'm fortunate that I'm 63, because now I have a lot of life experience. So law enforcement, business. I worked out in the woods. I was a logger. I built trail. I drilled wells, worked in first job out of high school was in this mill. I have a lot of life experiences. I've been a coach for over 35 years in football and track. So I find something I can relate with anyone. I'm a U of O alum, I mean, guaranteed that most people that are coming through have something to do with the University of Oregon, either an alum, know somebody that is an alum, has a kid that goes to school there, so on and so forth. And I try to build that rapport by talking about something personal other than real estate. Build that relationship. That is the absolute key to this business is relationship. This is not about sales. We are not in a sales industry. We're in a relationship industry. And so the better you recognize that, the better you're going to be in real estate. Park on the street. Leave room for people to come in, and park. Don't take up the parking space. The closer that they can get to the house, the better that they're going to feel. Also makes them feel a little safer. Check all entrances and exits. So making sure that first of all, when you go in, unlock them all so that people can access. And then when you're done, making sure everything is locked up. Turn on all the lights. Every single light that you can find, turn it on. It doesn't matter if it's bright out, sunny day, turn them all on. A bright house tends to be better for viewing than if you left lights off and left it up to them to turn them on and off. Check your local COVID guidelines. Of course, we're kind of out of that, but this is, part of, this was put together during COVID. And so that's one of the steps. Follow market center guidelines and checklists for open house. So like I say, they have told us that we are not to do open houses for agents outside of Keller Williams. And that's to protect not only the company, but it's to protect you too. So any ahas out of that session?
Yeah, I had one. I love the idea of the 2-hour window for the open house to create a sense of urgency. I mean, you're absolutely correct in that. Like when they're 4 hours, it's like a drip system, like they're just coming in one at a time. So that's
one of the things I found too is that not only the lack of energy in a 4-hour period, but I would get tired waiting for people. I mean, what do you're twiddling your thumbs or you're looking, checking on your phone and stuff like that. And basically none of that's productive.
Right.
I mean, if you have your laptop, you can also, you can do some work there, but I'm there to do an open house because I'm trying to get new leads. I want to meet people. I want people to come in and take a look at this house. And so by doing that 2-hour window, that 2 hours goes by so fast when you have a busy open house. And you feel the energy yourself. And by feeling that energy, people can sense when you have energy and when you don't have energy. And you want to mirror people. Well, people tend to mirror you too. So if you've got that energy, I think, that they tend to have more energy too. If you just kind of feeling like, man, I'm so tired, been here, for 3 hours and only had 4 people come through, and things, and then the next person comes through, they're going to sense that you're kind of tired, and they're not going to have that energy themselves. So mirror people, but if they lack energy themselves, pick your energy up. That's going to pick theirs up.
That's all great advice. Thank you for that.
So prepare, prospect, and pursue, the 3 Ps. The difference between big and really big is how you manage your time and focus. So we all have 24 hours in the day. It's what we do with those 24 hours. So preparing. So most of the work for open house is done before the day of the open house. So I'm doing, once I know that I have an open house, I am already marketing. And then the morning of the open house, I'm remarketing, because I want all that stuff to be back on top and fresh. When you put something in Craigslist, how it tends to trickle down, but then you renew it or you edit something and it goes right back up to the top. Facebook, I get most of my reaction on the marketplace in Facebook, and I market my open houses in every single classified place that I can. And then there's a Lane County open house Facebook site that you can put your open houses. I'm going out there. I'm doing it on my personal. I'm doing it on my business page. Everywhere that I can market this open house, I'm going to market the open house. I'm planning. I'm looking geographically, and I'm planning on the doors that I'm going to door knock. I look at it how it's geographically laid out. How can I get to the most doors within a 1.5 to 2 hour period? And I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to know exactly my route that I'm going to go to do the door knocking. Everything is prepared. I'm going to prepare all my PDFs that I can mail out, anything of value that I can give. I'm going to line up a lender if I'm going to have a lender, with that. I'm going to line up another agent, way before the open house. I want everything set so the day of the open house, I'm getting prepared to open. And many times I'll my door knocking, and they talk about door knocking like, Monday or Tuesday before the weekend of the open house. I don't like that, because when you do that, people tend to forget about it. I want to door knock the day before or the morning of. I want it fresh in people's minds about that I'm inviting you to an open house. And when you do door knock, don't be afraid to do the no soliciting ones, because you're not soliciting them. You're inviting them to an event. And the way I put it is, hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just introducing myself to the neighbors. I'm Dan, I'm a local realtor in the area, and I'm going to be having an open house at such and such address just down the street. And I just like to invite the neighbors. And the reason I like to invite the neighbors is, first of all, I like to get a little bit of feedback, on how the house looks, how the price is, and so on and so forth. Secondly is you may actually know somebody who's looking in the area that you'd like to have as a neighbor, and wouldn't it be great to be able to pick your own neighbors? And they kind of, a lot of times I'll get a little chuckle out of it. Now, I had one guy, I've never had an instance where I've had somebody just get really upset about me coming to their house, even though that they had a no soliciting. I had one guy, point to his no soliciting sign and say, well, can't you see that, and stuff. And I said, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I've got an open house down the road and I just wanted to invite you to come to the open house. I'd just like to get a little feedback, and then we got to talking. I ended up getting a referral. A family member was looking to buy a home and I got a referral out of it, no soliciting. So anyway, so don't let that. Now, if you get a hinky feeling about a place, don't force yourself. If you just feel a little weird about a certain place, move on to the next one. So prepare your mindset when you're going in. Know that I'm gonna get prepared. I'm gonna have everything ready. I'm going to know where I'm door knocking. I know what I want to say when I'm door knocking. I take a tablet with me when I'm door knocking, so I have a flyer that says you're invited, and open house. And I'll hand that flyer to them as I'm introducing myself. They, when you hand something, people automatically reach out and take it. And I have a tablet with me so that after I'm done, I can write their name down while it's still fresh in my mind. Because I'm going to introduce myself, and if they don't say their name, I'm going to say, and towards the end, and I'm sorry, what was your name? And I've always had people tell me their name, so I can write their first name down and how the conversation went. Now, I do this for a reason, because I'm going to go back when we go pending, and I'm going to say, man, we had so many people interested in this house. We have a ton of buyers that are ready to move into this area. So and I'm going to go by and I'm going to call them by name, because I know what their name is. I have the address, the name, and the results. And I'm gonna say, hey, Mary, I don't know if you remember me, Dan, I had the open house down the road that I invited you to. I just coming by because we had so many buyers looking in this area. I just thought maybe you knew somebody in the area that was looking to move within the next year. And if they say yes, stuff, you build in, get the information and so on and so forth. If they say, well, no, and then you follow it up. Well, have you thought of, are you thinking about making a move in the next year? So you follow the door knock up with another door knock. And the thing is, I guarantee that they're going to start remembering who you are, because you didn't go there just once, you've gone there twice. Now, the other reason I make notes, and this is very important, what if they were a total jerk? Do you really want to go door knock that door again? I see your head shake. No. So I make some kind of comment. I don't say jackass or something like that. I might put the word down mule. I know what it means. Somebody I just, rude, whatever, and things, just code words that I put in. And I know that I'm not gonna door knock that person again, because, frankly, I don't want to talk to people who are negative. I want to be around people that are positive, because it helps me to be positive. So just know your mindset, know what you're going to do, practice your conversations. With different, you can practice with agents, have an agent come in and say, yeah, I just started looking. Well, practice what you're going to say. Oh yeah, I've been looking for a while. Practice what you're going to say. Oh, you've been looking for a while. Have you been working with an agent? And they say, well, yeah. Oh, well, who's your agent? If they don't know that agent's name, they're not really totally committed to the agent, or they just haven't gotten the right service. You know, so practice. So here's kind of the layout, and again, I'll talk about it, but select the house on Monday. So the earlier you know your open house, the better. Now, sometimes you don't know an open house because as soon as Monday, because when does most of the listings go on the market? Anybody? Thursday or Friday? Before the weekend, so that they can do an open house, and it hasn't been on the market that long, that you know, because if you put it on the market on Monday, the potential before you get to your open house on Saturday is that you get an offer coming in, and maybe it's an acceptable offer, and now you don't get to do an open house because guess what? You just went pending. You know, or you do an open house trying to look for a backup offer. You know, so if you look at when most listings come up, if you look, it's going to be Thursday or Friday is when listings tend to come up. So you may not know that you're doing an open house until Thursday or Friday, in which case you got to do everything that you're going to do during the week to prepare, and you got to get it done in 1 day or 2 days. Tuesday, post online, walk the neighborhood, invite neighbors to showing. So this is where the door knocking comes in, as they have it on Tuesday. Like I say, I like to move this to Friday or the day of, or if I'm gonna do a Sunday open house, and I'm doing, you know, then I might knock on Saturday and then go do the Sunday open house. If I've got a Saturday and Sunday open house, I'll probably go ahead and door knock on Friday for Saturday's open house, and I'll door knock on Saturday for Sunday's open house before I do the Saturday open house. That's a lot of door knocking, but I tell you what, man, I love the results that I get from door knocking. Whoops, go back here. Thursday, post online again, invite database, send out just a mass, either online, your database. If you use a CRM, you should be able to send out a mass email to everybody and say, hey, I have an open house this week. Maybe you know somebody that this house meets their criteria. Just shooting this out to everybody, or you specify the name, just plug in the leader for the first name, and just say, I'm just talking, I just thought I'd shoot this out to you to see if you happen to know anybody that this may fit. Now, maybe your database is 100 people. Well, that's 100 people that you're getting it out to all in one shot. Maybe your database is a couple thousand people. Maybe it's 10,000 people. You know, you think that maybe out of those people that maybe one person might know somebody, and then if that house doesn't fit, guess what? You just got a lead. Install your yard sign. Again, it's installing on Wednesday. That's if you know Monday that you're doing an open house at a certain place. But if you don't know until Thursday or Friday, well, you know, then you want to install your yard sign then when it's on. What I do is that there's a writer you can get for the listing to go on top of the sign that has the day and then the hours of your open house. And then the day of the open house, any intersection where people, you know, might miss it, have a sign, an open house sign. Shoot, I did an open house out of Saginaw, between, you know, Crestwell and Cottage Grove. I had a sign right there on I-5, you know, with a balloon, you know, open house, take this exit. So everywhere. And then Friday, post online again, prepare market statistics, print flyers, door knock. And again, have your, if you're doing it with another agent, if you're doing it with the lender, if they have the lender ponying up some money to help with the costs and stuff, have that all in place before your open house on Saturday or Sunday. Community and neighborhood information. These are what clients like to know. So again, that open house sheet of the surrounding open houses is valuable to the people that are coming to look at your open house, because they're looking at your open house because that's kind of the neighborhood that they'd like. Relocation information. I like to have vendors that I would recommend to help with relocation, help with packing. I have a 16-foot cargo trailer. There's clients that I've helped move, some small, smaller, household goods or whatever, locally. Just say, hey, don't rent a truck. I've got a trailer. I'll be happy to park that trailer out there, and you can fill it up, and I'll take it to where, to your destination. Now, I'm not saying go out and spend the money on a trailer to do that, but but just help them and give them something of value, and just telling them who they can go turn to help with those relocation items would be something that they would appreciate. First-time home buyers. So be prepared with first-time buyers. Typically, down payment might be an issue. Already have the what is possible to help with down payment. There's different programs out there now. There's an Oregon program. Dev Northwest has a program to help with down payment. And so there's ways of helping with the down payment. Other programs that are for, that can help first-time home buyers. And lenders that are good with first-time home buyers. Mortgage information, what are today's interest rates? How many people attended Chris Bettis's class on VA lending? Anybody? Okay, VA loans aren't the same. They're not the same rates at every lender. Each lender can have different rates. They're not, and they say, well, the VA sets the rates. Well, the thing is, lenders will add to that. They'll deduct from that. Chris Bettis has some of the best rates for VA lenders or VA buyers. So if you have a VA buyer, I highly recommend Chris. He actually received an award for the #1 VA lender in the nation, and he's out here. He's out of Eugene. And for example, rates that are that we're seeing 7%. His rates on VA is about 5.75 to 6.1 right now. So know that information, know something of value, not only mortgage information, but know the lender to point them to. I have different lenders that I use for the simple reason is they have an expertise in certain areas. And and I want that expertise to shine when it comes to my buyers. If I have a Hispanic speaking buyer, I use Tanya Torres. It's more comfortable that they're able to speak in Spanish than to speak to a lender who doesn't speak Spanish. I have Chris Bettis for VA. Hard to do loans. Dean Schmidt with PacRez. He's probably one of the smartest, most intelligent lenders that I've ever worked with. And he thinks outside the box. If he can't do it, nobody can. Let's put it that way. I use Nick Carter. for several different things. I used construction loans, Edong Equare, so know the lenders and their specialties so that you can point your buyers to the right direction. Don't have just one lender. Have that variety and understand what their expertise is. So prospect, build trust and rapport. Again, building trust happens right at the door when you introduce yourself. Introduce yourself with a smile. You have that energy when they come through the door. Ask them how their day is going. Are you out just, are you just looking at this house today? Or are you looking at some other houses today? Start building that rapport by asking questions. And most importantly, listen. You'll be amazed at how much information you can get by just closing your mouth and letting them talk. Provide value. We talked about different things that you can do to provide value. Other open houses, lending information, sending them the flyer is something of value. It's something that they want, you give it to them. If people say, oh, well, you don't have a flyer, and I'll say, in this day of age, this is how we do it. And it's instantaneous. It'll come to you and then you won't lose it. It'll always be in your email. So what did I just do? I told them, hey, you'll never lose it. I didn't say, well, this is the way I do things. This is a way that you will never lose it, that you'll have access to it so you don't lose it. Capture information and qualify leads. So there's different ways of capturing the information. What I found that has started to work for me the best, I mean, there's a QR code that you can put on the front door. I haven't had good luck with that. I like to go ahead and set a table up just outside of the door. If it's a wet day, just inside then, but if it's not a wet day, just outside the door, I have a table that folds and I set that up. And then with a couple balloons, sign in here, and have a sign-in sheet. What I do is I don't start a new sign-in sheet for a new open house. I continue using the same sign-in sheet. I'll put just a little marker or something that indicates that, hey, this is where the new open house starts. But when people come, they start seeing all the names that are signed up. What are they thinking? They think, wow, there's a lot of people that have already come through. So you just have this running log and keep, when you have to put a new paper, keep the other paper right underneath it. So that, if people are going, oh, well, shoot, there's a lot of names on here. But have that running log. And that has helped me the most, because the other thing is that when you start a new page and you don't have any showing where anybody's signed in, people tend to just kind of put minimal information like their name. And yes, I'm working with a realtor. They'll put working with a realtor even if they're not sometimes. But whenever you already have a page showing the name, the email, the phone number, are you working with a realtor? Are you a buyer or seller? And they see that everyone else is filling that out, subconsciously that tells them I need to fill that all out. And I get more information by doing that. So that's how I get people signed in, and I greet them at the door. I'm looking to see if they're signing in, and if they're not signing in, I say, hey, it's great to have you here. Go ahead and sign in, and I'll take you through the house. Just all in one. I'm not saying just sign in. Now, I did have somebody tell me, well, do we actually have to sign in? And I said, no, you don't have to sign in. And we got to talking, you know, and stuff. And then I happen to have another listing that's coming up that they might be interested in. And they said, wow, we might be interested in that. And I said, well, you know, I'd love to tell you when it's going to go on the market, but you didn't sign in. So I have no way of contacting you. So what did he do? He went and signed in. So you know, have fun with it, you know, and if somebody, don't let things, you know, if somebody comes in with a bad attitude, or, you know, we've been through these open houses and, you know, we know what to expect type of thing and stuff. Just be yourself and be, you know, and be happy, be energetic. You know, that's what those people are going to remember. And, you know, and don't take anything personally, because it's not personal. It's their past experience that's dictating how they act when they come in. So don't take stuff like that personally. Capture information and qualified leads. So qualifying leads, I ask. So are you a cash buyer, or are you going to be getting a mortgage? You're getting a mortgage. Well, have you already met with you've already met with the lender then, haven't you? You know, it's kind of like, well, you know, they can answer one of two ways, you know, yes, we have, or no, we haven't. You know, and if they say no, well, I say, well, you know, I mean, I've got a great lender that I can recommend, you know, and you know, there's no obligation, and he can get you, you know, he can let you know how much you can get approved for. And if they say, well, you know, we're still trying to build up a down payment, or, you know, our credit's not great, you know, and things. Well, here's the deal. My lender, if you don't qualify right now, he'll tell you what you need to do to qualify, and you can have a plan. He will set a plan out for you, you know, and it's invaluable, you know, if you're going to, you know, for you to become a homeowner sooner than you think you can. Greet everyone that comes to the door. Like I say, smile, be happy, you know, be a lifted spirit when you go to the door, you know, because that's going to rub off on those people. When you greet them with a smile, a lot of times they're going to greet you with a smile back. Engage in conversation. Again, asking questions, be positive. I think it's kind of redundant. We just kind of already gone through this. So know your team stats. So know your market stats. Market stats as far as, you know, what's kind of the range that homes are going for in that area. You know how much the home that you have listed, or that you're doing the open house at is, but know the surrounding stats. You know, what's kind of the range in prices? What's the type of homes that are mostly in that area? Know your stats. Understanding the personality types. Like I say, analytical, feely touchy, you know, just, you know, there's different, you know, you use the disc, use Ford, you know, when you're talking to people. Family, occupation, recreation, desires, your goals. Have something to offer the visitors. First of all, you're offering them your hand. You're offering them a smile. As you get to know them, you take every opportunity you can to offer them something of value. And you kind of make it a game, if you want, you know, and stuff, or a goal is that, well, if I can offer 4 things of value, they will be my client. And go out of your way to try to give them something of value. Oh, I gave them my hand. That's one. I greeted them with a smile. That was something of value. That's two. I sent them a flyer through email. That's three. I sent them an open house list. That's four. They're going to be my client. So always think of ways to offer something of value. Have the sign-in sheet, and we went over that. What I think is best is to keep the sign-ins from the previous open house so that they can see that everyone's filling it out. I get more people filling out the whole thing because of it. Use Command. So Command is your CRM. Use it for your database. Now, some of us, we use Command to, input our clients who are pending or who are listed on Command, but our team uses Brevity, so that's our CRM. That's what Place uses. And so, but it's the same concept. You want your database you want your database all together in one spot where you're sending out your monthly newsletters, you're sending out your mass emails, your mass texts, contacting people, going through setting your tasks. It's easier to follow up if you have them all in one place. Now, do you just put them in one place? No, have a backup file. Have a CSV file or something on Excel. Use the KW app. Another thing of value is that, hey, I'd like to go ahead and send you the link to use the Keller Williams app. And what's cool about it is you could be in any area and you can just get on the app and it'll show you every house that is for sale in that area. They show you the location and everything. Ask questions. Again, you're trying to build a rapport. You're trying to get information. The only way you're going to do that is to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Where do your kids go to school? It doesn't have to be about real estate. Building that rapport. Remember, you're there to get leads and appointments. So building that relationship is going to help you get leads. Closing that relationship with, I'll be in touch with you. I'll give you a call as soon as I'm done here. We'll set up a time that we can get together. That's setting your appointment. So planning an open house, ahas. I saw a lot of people writing things down, so.
I have so many notes. I like the idea of using the app as a form of value because it's something that we already have and it's a very robust, awesome little thing that we can just, I made a QR code for mine so people can just scan it, and that's a really great reminder to use that. I was going to ask you, what was the FORD acronym again? What was that?
So family, you're asking about family.
Yeah.
Occupation.
Right.
Recreation. Yeah. And what's their desires, their goals, or their dreams?
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, hi, I have a question. I have two questions here. So did you say there's a website for Lane County for open houses, or do we just pull that off of RMLS?
I pull it off of you're talking about I was talking about for advertising your open house. There is an open house Facebook site for Lane County.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Would you-
and so I go to that, I belong to that, you just, all you got to do is just, just ask to, to go ahead and belong to the site, and then you can post your open houses to that. But for me, looking for open houses, I can go through and just into RMLS and then pull out the open houses that are going on for that day.
Do you remember the name of the Facebook group or Facebook page? Is
Just
Lane
open
County-
houses, Lane County.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go in and you just put trying to find a page or whatever, just open, put it in open houses, Lane County, and it'll pop up.
Okay, perfect. And
But
then my
but
other question-
don't limit it to just that. Like I say, I go into the marketplace and I sign up for every classified site in Eugene, Springfield, Lane County and stuff. And so what I'm able to do is when I go in and I build my classified, and then all I'm doing is I'm just clicking on all those ones that I'm putting, and it massively goes out to all of them. I don't have to go to each one individually. I just click on all of them that I belong to, and then it'll show you others that you could belong to, and see if it's something that would coincide with listing a house or doing an open house. Because I use all of them for listing a house also.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so my other question really quick, about how many signs do you recommend getting for open houses? How many signs do you usually use to make
It really
sure-
depends on where you're at, how many intersections that there are. So I typically will use I use about 4 to 6. So for
Okay,
example, I have one that's pending up on South 71st in Springfield, and it's up on the hill. And so I used one down on Main Street, or Highway 126 and 71st. So that's the first one. Second one I used at Bluebell and South 71st. And the next one, the street forks up towards the top. And so I used one at that fork, and then I used one in the driveway. So I used 4 there. If you're in a place that's got a lot of turns that you're taking, you got to have a sign on every turn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you don't want anybody missing out that you have an open house.
So it makes sense
and
to
so-
order about 6 or 7 to be safe.
Yeah,
correct?
and you can just use the generic, KW open house directionals. Or you can use the sandwich boards. Now Eugene Real Estate Group, we've got about 10 sandwich boards that say open house. They're heavy duty. They're wood, so the wind isn't going to shift them or blow them away. And so I just set out those sandwich boards everywhere. And makes it simple, got them in the back of my car, stop my car, put the sandwich board out, tie the balloon, boom, next one. Yeah. I do recommend balloons on every one of them.
Balloons. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. There's something about the balloon that directs attention to the sign.
Right. And my other question is, I know you touched a little bit on having a lender for example, Spanish speaking lender, a different one that does VA and specializes in VA. Do you know if it'd be a good idea to have one that specializes on first-time home buyers, or have you noticed that most of them already do?
People that have access to the new Oregon grant for down payment assistance. Guild is a good one for that. They also have a relationship with Dev Northwest. There's also, you want to make sure that they have the Chenoa program, which If they don't have to use it, I don't recommend it because they get it on the back end. It's a little higher rate. And so, but the Chenoa program can be inside the city limits, and it's a zero down program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, but like I say, there's better programs if they can do the down payment, FHA is going to be a better way, or conventional financing. For USDA, I use Dean Schmidt. For hard to do loans, I use Dean Schmidt. He's actually the only lender that actually refers clients to me. And
Really?
so if you build a good relationship with the lender and they're not sending you clients, I've worked with Dean for years and years, and if they're not sending you clients, I kind of say it's time to find a new lender, because you're giving them clients. Why shouldn't they be giving you clients?
Yeah, great way of thinking for sure. I have learned the hard way with that. Starting up, a lot of lenders, when you first start, a lot of lenders have come my way, and I've referred a lot of people, but haven't really had anybody refer back. So I'm excited to build that rapport with one of them or a couple of them. To obviously get leads back. Of course, that's a great way.
Well,
Thank you.
know this is
Uh-huh.
that lenders and escrow officers want to work with you. They're the ones that should be taking you out to lunch. I
Okay.
got a lot of free lunches when I was first starting because people want to work with them. And, you can call certain lenders and say, hey, I'm just interviewing for lenders, and stuff, because I'm just, I'm getting started in real estate, and I just want to make sure that I'm hooked up with the right lenders for my clients. And, is there a time that we can meet? And interview lenders, because, one thing is that, a lender might be able to do right by your client, but maybe you guys clash on personalities. Find a lender that you like working with. There's plenty out there.
Oh yeah, I wrote a few of them down that you mentioned, so I'll
Yeah.
definitely contact them and see if I can build a rapport with them for sure. Thank you so much for the advice. Great advice.
Nick Carter at Directors Mortgage is a good one too, especially for an agent starting out.
Nick Carter.
Yeah, with Directors Mortgage, they do a lot of sponsorship here.
I think somebody from Directors Mortgage came last week. I think Matt.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, Matt handles a lot of the processing, and then we try to use Evergreen exclusively for our escrow, but that's because we're hopeful that as we build our business that we're actually going to buy into it and become part owners of Evergreen. Evergreen is Cascade is really good for escrow. They have a 1031 exchange. I still use them for 1031 exchanges. But we wanted somebody locally owned, which Evergreen and Cascade are locally owned. Fidelity, First American, and Western are not locally owned. And what's nice about Evergreen is that if you need a prelim before you even list a home, if I go out on a listing appointment, I can get a prelim for my listing appointment.
Right.
So I know ahead of time if there's any liens on the house, if there's any judgments or anything like that. And it's kind of a cool service. They supply my booties, stuff. Any escrow place should be supplying your booties, your shoe covers. There's other materials when you do an open house or when you have a listing, any one of them will put together a complete book of all the statistics, the neighborhood, the house information, stuff like that. and try to find the one that will actually pony up for the binder too, because some of them will only give you the pages and you have to find them and you have to put it in a binder yourself. And so, but I know Evergreen will do it with the binder.
Yeah, I haven't met with Evergreen. I have met with Cascade, with Lexi. I think her last name is Crab. And I had a good meeting with Cascade months ago. I will say to any new agents, you know, don't sleep on these escrow businesses. They have so many great tools for
They do.
us. The farming, the stuff that they can sell. So they have, you know, the trios that you can pull, which is right before listing. They just have so much information, especially on marketing and farming. So it's something really important for us new agents to go meet with the escrow, you know, go have coffee with the escrow people that are inviting you, because they have so many great tools.
Well, and meet with their customer rep people and stuff. So like Evergreen, Chad has been doing that for a long time, and he can go through and tell you all the perks that they can offer. Dana Hinshaw is who we use. She's actually the owner of Evergreen, and she does our escrows. You know, we were using Cascade for a long time, but our escrow officer retired. And so otherwise we would still be with Gina Larson. But anyway, yeah. So when we formed the team, we interviewed, we narrowed it down to 2 escrows, and then they took us out to lunch, and both of them, and we interviewed both of them. And so that's what we decided on. But you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be using different escrows, because you're not always going to have the say so on the escrow. You're going to have an offer that's really good, but they picked a different escrow instead of your recommended escrow on your listing. You know, the bottom line is you need to do what's right by your client, and just because they're not using the escrow that you like to use, it's a good offer for your client. Your client comes first. So your client always comes first. Okay.
Yeah, so getting familiarized with Cascade and Evergreen is definitely something. I haven't talked to Evergreen, but thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely get in contact with them.
Yeah, they're smaller, and we knew that going in. But like I say, is that, you know, we just started at the beginning of the year. We just started our team, and we wanted to grow. And I work close. I work with Eric and Jeanette Harple, who used to be VTOP in Lane County here for quite a while, and then they went back to Reno, and then they went up and hooked up with Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez, and so they worked directly with Ben Kinney. And so he called and said, "Hey, let's do one in Eugene," because I was their lead agent at one time. And I said, "Yep, sounds good." So anyway, so just recapping, the open house best practices, benefits of open houses, and prepare, prospect, and pursue, the 3 Ps. And so hopefully that, we've gone over enough information that that your next open house it'll help you be better, on your next one, that you will have better numbers, that your percentages will be better. If you got 10 people coming in, maybe instead of 1 potential client, you get 3 or 4 potential clients, because of some of the tools that we've talked about today. And then, like I say, Hannah, she does a great job with open houses, and she's got more on scripts and things like that. And so I recommend looking at that program. He said tomorrow, correct? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before we call it a day?
This was a great class. Thank you so much.
Oh, no,
Thank you
no
very
problem.
much.
No.
I mean,
Like I say, the open houses are one of my favorite ways of getting clients, and it's like, yeah, man, oh, I'd want an open house right in this area because I know it'd be a great open house. I've got one coming up in Veneta. It's going to be an awesome open house. Just because it's in a subdivision. All the houses are kind of the same there and stuff. It's going to be great door knocking. I'm going to get some clients out of that open house. And so I know that, and just looking forward to it. A lot of people don't like to do open houses because they just can't get up for it. They just don't look forward to going because, first of all, a lot of them have done it wrong. They just thought, I go and I open up the door and I let people in and I talk a little bit with them and call it a day. Well, no, you prep, you prepare, you door knock before you're even opening the door. Then you open the door, then you're talking, you're prospecting, you're giving things of value. And then after you close the door, you're following up. You spend that time following up. That's why I say, plan on a 7-hour day with an open house. If you're doing your door knocking the same day, your open house and your follow-up, it's a 7-hour day. But it will pay dividends and it is a great return on investment. Cool.
Great.
Thumbs up.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I run the productivity committee for Keller Williams, and I've always been a coach. Whether it's been sports, trying to teach people to be better in whatever avenues that they want to be better, and it is my passion to help other agents become better at what they do. And I am an open book, so you can give me a call or ask me any questions and I'd be happy to help out.
Can you put your contact information in the chat for us? Would that be okay?
In the chat, let me
Or
stop the
just-
share. Let me stop the
just-
share here and chat, and that's it. Whoops. Oh, well, it helped if I was typed on the right keyboard. I got 2 keyboards in front of me. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Great.
Oh, just get your phone, take a picture.
But I did.
I write so slow. That's the bad thing about law enforcement is all the reports you have to write, and the sheriff's department required you to write them in block print. And so I wrote so many reports I can't write anymore. Script is so hard for me. It's slower for me now, but still try to take notes in block print. I went through 3 years of college doing block print because it was after I was in law enforcement to get my science degree. Taking notes in block print. Needless to say, it was more of taking pictures of the screen.
Yep, I hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Okay. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.